All right, so we are here with Mark Kelleher, who is running for a 5-year term on the Housing Authority. Mark, thank you for joining us. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. First of all, thank you for the committee. I think this is a great community service. So when people vote, they get at least a semblance, if they choose to, of who we are. As I said, Mark Kelleher. I've lived down the Cape here for 25 years. For 20 years of that, I lived in Chatham, although my children went to Monomoy schools. And then in the last 3 years, I've moved over to West Harwich. So recent, and I own a house in Harwich for the last 20 years as well. So I do have roots in the community. So that's a little bit about me. In terms of occupations, I just retired from teaching for 15 years. I still work part-time in the system that I formerly worked on. But prior to that, and I thought this would be helpful to the Housing Authority, I was a construction manager for O'Connell Brothers Construction in Boston. I was a project manager at Marina Bay, Bayside Expo, Hoosick Pier. So I had a lot of, I ran a lot of jobs from start to finish, from both commercial and residential. And I thought, and then after that, I was also a property manager for both O'Connell and for some property management firms in Boston. So I'm familiar with property, how to maintain it, and the value, especially where you have shared interests of planning for the future for your reserve studies and for future expenditures. That was always a big problem with condominiums, that they didn't anticipate future expenses. They'd have to have large special assessments, and it would be a mess. Much better to set aside money ahead of time based on a capital reserve study. So that's what brought me to the Housing Authority. I thought I may have some practical knowledge. I am very interested in trying to help out with the affordable housing issue. I've reached out to John Stewart, is the manager for the Housing Authority for both Chatham and Harwich, and I've visited with him all the properties in Harwich. And I've reached out to Ms. Deegan, who's kind of the housing coordinator for the Lower Cape, and she's been very helpful with suggestions on how the Housing Authority could help. And I think that's what I bring. I mean, one thing about when you're dealing with the municipalities, there are just so many different programs there. It's a big learning curve. But, that's why so the reason I have volunteered is I have some expertise. I'd like to be helpful. And please give me your vote. Thanks. Any other questions?
Do you know how many approximately, or maybe you know the exact number, how many properties there are in Harwich that are under the Housing Authority? You know,
there were some, I visited about 6, but then there are a lot of individual properties that have the vouchers, which we didn't visit, but I really had an eye-opener when I saw, I have it here in my notes, Thankful Chase. What a beautiful,
nice
facility, and that would be the type of facility that, for example, on the town meeting, some of these areas that may open up for affordable housing, that is a great benchmark to use for future development. Hope I answered your question.
Yes, you have.
Okay.
Anything else you want to add?
No, that's.
All right.
That's about it.
All right. Well, Mark Kelleher, 5-year term on the Housing Authority. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.